So I got a box of Super Nintendo motherboards from a local game store, and he said I can tinker with them, try to figure them out, see if I can fix any. And yeah, I'm gonna be making some more videos. I got maybe 25, maybe 25 boards here, so hopefully I can get them to work. Okay, first one here on deck. We got it already ready to go. Let's see what it gives me. The cart boots up. Let's go to burn-in test. Ignore that noise. Okay, here we go. Looks like HV timer failed. Now I've had that in the past, so I know that that's a CPU issue. So I'm gonna see if I have a parts board here, and I'm gonna swap the CPU and see if this fixes it. So I was looking through the box and I found this one. It looks like Coca-Cola or some sort of soda spilled in this one, and all the chips don't look too great, but oddly enough the CPU didn't sustain any damage. I can't even get this cartridge connector off. It's glued. It adhered to the board, and if I tear at this cartridge connector, I might do more damage to this board. But obviously it's a parts board, so I'm gonna take this CPU and put it in this console. Alright. People ask me often, what's the temperature for desoldering these things? I usually set it to 350 Celsius. I make sure that the tip is kind of thin so it can concentrate the heat better. I set the fan speed to max. I guess some desoldering stations, hot air rework stations, don't have fan speed. Mine does. And you should just go back and forth like around in a circle, and you shouldn't be tearing at this. Like if you're tearing these things up, you're damaging. Just all you gotta do is get this, place your tweezers or whatever you're using to lift the chip, and it should just slip off. You don't have to do much of anything. It does take a while. See, it's just lifting by itself. I didn't even use any force. Look, it's just, it didn't pop, it didn't snap, it didn't zipper off. It came off effortless. Now here's our donor CPU. We do the same thing. Just a little bit of flux, not too much. I mean, the more the better, but I just don't have that much flux and I'm running out, so I gotta order some more. Warm it up a little bit, let it heat up. I guess I could have tried to fix this broken parts board, but I'm gonna have so many boards in there that are gonna need chips. I may as well take. Like, you wouldn't want to resell this as a game store. Even if I clean this up, I'm bound to find some broken traces there, and to patch all those traces. Like, I wouldn't feel great fixing a board and then the guy selling it, the store owner, having to sell it with so many bodge wires going everywhere. You could almost see the chip itself ready to come off without even having to go in with the tweezers. See, it just slipped off. I didn't pry it, I didn't yank at it, just fell right out. And before I put the chip in, I like to clean the old flux off. Even though I guess that it wouldn't hurt to just put the chip on the old flux and just solder it in place. But out of like habit, I like to have a clean work surface. Just so I could see better. I'll always add more flux anyway. So now I'll bring in the chip. Now, let me see if I can zoom in a little more. Okay, right here. This dot here corresponds to the first chip on this QFP, and this first pin is this. This dot, it corresponds to this section. So you want to put the chip facing this way, not the other way around. It won't work. You gotta have it facing this way. Also, be careful when you're messing with the chip. These pins can bend easily. Now I could take a desoldering braid and clear up the old pads here. If the chip is stubborn and it won't lay in a position that I want it, then I'll clean up the pads. But I'm gonna try, before cleaning up the pads, I'm gonna try to get it positioned. So let's see. Now I do got a camera in my face, keep that in mind. I might have to make a cut here if I don't get it. No, I still don't got it. I can get it, I just have to get my head in the shot, and it's not gonna work too well. So I'm almost there, but let me just let me just see it better. Just give me a second. Okay, it looks like I got it, but I could always still just I could ever so effortlessly nudge that. So let me just try to pin one leg in place. Now this, did my iron turn off? Okay, my iron's off, hold on. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so I just like to just tap, drip the solder in. I don't even have to touch it, the chip. I don't even want to mess with it. Just tack in a few spots. No, it's not going nowhere. So even if I bridge something, like let's say I just make a mess and I just bridge it like that, it's okay. Because I haven't put flux on the chip yet, because the flux already, my solder has flux in it, but when I'm dealing with stuff like this, I like to add a little more flux. Actually, I should have added no clean. I'm using the wrong flux. But, alright, I mean, I can use the liquid no clean. I put that other stuff on there. I'm just going to mix everything together. I have a science project here. Alright. Let's see. I've never actually mixed both of these fluxes together. Somebody in the comment section will probably let me know how toxic it is, and I only have 24 hours to live. Yeah, see, the thing is with the liquid no clean, it's a little cooler, so the iron temperature comes down a bit. And if you have a bridge, it's okay. You just touch it and wipe it. And I'm pulling the iron away so I can wipe it on my steel wool or whatever this is. Like, it's like a copper sponge or whatever it is. I'm wiping it off. And as you can see, the bridge goes away. I like to go like this, parallel to the pins. It's like painting, except I don't know how to paint. And then turn the board 90 degrees and do the same. Let me get some solder. The other side had some solder, this side has none. Of course, the last few pins have some bridging, but it's okay. You could just touch it and wipe it. Touch it and wipe it. Yep, easy. Another 90-degree turn. Oops, sorry. Another 90-degree turn. Just add a little bit of solder, and that little bit of solder isn't more than enough for all these pins. Wipe the iron. This one I might need some more flux. When you have good equipment, not good equipment, when you have good solder and good flux, it tends to help a lot. So if you're getting into repairs, you can buy one spool of solder and it'll last you years. And I'm being honest, it'll last you like literally years. So why go cheap? Buy it once, you don't need it anymore. Unless you're doing mass repairs and you're working a lot of stuff. One more 90-degree turn, we're in the home stretch right here. A little bit of solder. This might be a little boring for somebody to watch. But somebody it might be useful for someone learning to do this. So I might have a bridge there, I can't quite see. Yeah, see, I do have a bridge there. That little bridge right there will cause you to get a black screen. So always double check your work. That bridge will go away with just a touch of an iron. Small little touch and it's gone. But yep. And before I try this console, I want to wipe all this flux off. It's a little wet, and this might actually not allow the console to work. So let me clean up this flux, and then I'll get back to you in the next shot. Okay, bad news after all that. I even reflowed it. It still gives me a black screen. So maybe this CPU was fried too, or maybe I did something wrong. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try another CPU on this console. I'm going to check the parts bin, see if I can get a CPU. And if it works, then I'm going to put this CPU, I'm going to put this CPU aside, because I still don't think it's bad, but I'm not getting anything on the screen. So I'm going to try another CPU. If not, if I still get a black screen, then this board might have had some other issue with it. I don't know. Okay, I found another parts board. I think the CPU should be okay on this one, but there is something wrong with it. Because in Super Mario Kart, now this passes all the burn-in tests, and it goes through the whole slideshow thing. And at the last screen, there's like issues. Like for instance here, there's graphical anomalies on the bottom screen. It's not supposed to be there. But this game seems to be working. Like the logic seems to be running. I can't play with one hand, but yeah, it seems like it's okay. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to try to pull this CPU off and put it on the other one. Hopefully it fixes the other one. For this time, I'm going to clear these pads with just a little bit of desoldering braid. Just so, because I've tried already once to put a chip on here and it didn't take the chip. Either the chip was also bad or I did something wrong. Which, to be fair, I think I did everything right, but I'm going to still say that I did something wrong. Because I don't think that a parts board would have Coca-Cola damage on the work RAM and no damage on the CPU, and still the CPU goes bad. Unless something fried internally on the system and just damaged the CPU right away. I don't know. I think that CPU was good, but I didn't know for sure because I couldn't test it because console was such bad shape. But it's very rare that two chips go bad. And once a console stops working, people just tend to not use it. Like you technically can't play anything. So if let's say the work RAM goes bad, and you just throw it away, why would the CPU go bad as well? I'm not really articulating my point too well, but I just have a feeling that I did something wrong. So let's do it right this time. Okay, I got the chip in place now. I'm gonna do the process all over again. Let's see. I really don't want to mess with it. Oh, see, that's the problem. Let me cut and readjust this. Okay, I got it back into place. Let me see if I can get another point on there before it moves again. There we go. There we go. Alright, we're good now. Let's see if this takes. Get some no clean. Now the other chip I did try several times, like reheating the legs, resoldering everything. It just wasn't taking. So I think the chip is bad, but I don't know for sure if, like I said earlier, I don't know if I burned it or if it was already bad. I like to be harder on myself, so I want to say that I did something wrong, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I put too much solder this time on this side. So we just add a little more of that. Yeah, sometimes it's stubborn. Come on. Come on. It's sometimes a little more difficult than it should be. But with some patience, you should be able to do it. Alright, I'll turn it sideways. Let's go down. Let's go down this line. Some people like to use the desoldering braid here. I don't really like to use deep soldering braid. Just dabbing and wiping usually works. In this case it did. Okay. Let's turn it one more time. Alright, that looks okay. Clean it and then test it. Okay, I cleaned up the board a bit and I'm going to test it now. So this time, the console that I was trying to repair was giving me a black screen, and now I'm getting Super Mario Kart. Now I'm trying to see if I'm getting the same issue as before, or did it clear up? Alright, so yeah, it cleared up. See, there's no more green bars anymore. So it seems like this console is repaired. Now I'm going to run the burn-in test just to see if this CPU doesn't have any issues, and now that I soldered it in place. But yeah, now it seems like it's good. Okay, burn-in test. So now the HV timer is passing, so that fail is now fixed. And the whole slideshow, I sit through it all, and it works, and everything runs right. So that's First console repaired, on to the next one.